Okay then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another YouTube video, all in crypto here. And today we are going to be talking about a project in the Polkadot space that is currently surrounded with outrage and a hell of a lot of drama. I am, of course, referring to the Polkadot is dead airdrop, the airdrop of the dead meme coin token to the Polkadot holders. And the outrage has really come in regards to the allocation, the tokenomics, and the fact that only 5% of the airdrop is actually going to be going to DOT token holders. And I believe that people thought that 100% of the airdrop was going to go to the DOT token holders. That now looks to not be the case. I am not going to really be giving too much of my own personal opinion on all of this, but perhaps looking at other people's takes. The DOT is dead airdrop is now live. So you will, I believe, have received, I think it's 36 dead already. And there's a number of things that are going to follow this. So we're going to be starting off by looking at the fact that this is now live. The airdrop is now live. We'll show you Subscan to show this is actually taking place. We'll be going over to what I think has caused the kind of outrage in regards to the dead tokenomics version 3. Which sees 30% of the overall supply go to ecosystem growth. Remember, there's going to be a fixed supply of 1 trillion tokens. 30% to strategic reserve held by the foundation. 30% to early investors. So, again, I think this has caused a little bit of outrage in regards to the fact that it was funded by the Treasury. And now 30% of the supply is going to go to people that invest in the project. 5% to the team. And 5% to people like you and me, DOT holders. I am not really as outraged as I think a lot of other people are. From my own personal standpoint, it's kind of a bonus to just be getting dropped free tokens through this project as somebody that already holds their DOT on a non-exchange wallet, a self-custody wallet. So it's kind of by the by for me. I'm not really that fussed. If I'm being honest, I'm not really as outraged as perhaps other people are, but we will be talking about some of that outrage. We'll be talking about exactly what's gone on. We'll be going over to the Kusarmarian's Twitter, or Jay's Twitter, and looking at his kind of take on this in regards to why is the dead drop only 5% to DOT holders, and sort of discussing what has led to this and why it's led to this. I mean, I have to say that if you're launching a cryptocurrency project, you do need to typically allocate a portion of the overall supply to actually furthering that project. Okay, it's not an easy thing to do. Again, I don't really want to give too much of my own personal opinion on this. What I'm interested in really is your opinions. So I want to see your comments, and I want to see what you guys think about all of this. Again, from my own personal point of view, I have no affiliation with this project whatsoever. I'm not a beneficiary of it, other than a DOT holder that will receive some of the dead tokens just for having DOT in my wallet. And I think from that point of view, I'm by the by on it. It doesn't really bother me either way. What I do want to give an opinion on, though, to start the video off, is just how unbelievably impressed I am in regards to Polkadot's OpenGov and what a unique selling point it is for Polkadot. And we're still in a very early stage of this decentralized government, essentially. And in all kind of political arenas, there's always outrage, there's always controversy, there's always drama, and Polkadot's OpenGov is no different. And actually, that drama has brought an unbelievable amount of attention to Polkadot, and I am so excited. And it may be something that I look to. I'm a super busy guy, unfortunately, but that I look to take more of an active role in. I think we're going to end up in this kind of a world, and we're already starting to see it, where we have kind of coalitions and parties forming in Polkadot OpenGov, and a kind of real embrace of a decentralized, fairer government. I know a lot of people say, well, it's not really that fair because you've got whales that move the ballot to such a degree. But I actually think that what that does is whenever we create something in life, often we create problems that come with it. And there's always a massive opportunity in solving those problems. And I think Polkadot's OpenGov is no different. And I think we're going to start to see parties, coalitions, all kinds of things forming around OpenGov that's really going to drive the users of it and thus Polkadot more broadly. I think OpenGov's been a great success. I really do. With everything, again, there's controversy, there's misappropriation of funds, there's all kind of things. Ourselves, we actually won a Polkadot proposal that allowed us to take the time to cover Polkadot on a regular basis, and we're really looking forward to revealing the results of that proposal. I think it's going to shock many people after the 6-month period is up. But let's dive into it. That was just my own little take on OpenGov. I think it's interesting. I think it's good to put a positive slant on everything when things seem so negative. And there's two sides to this. It's not just all negative, people hating on the whole situation. There are people that say, okay, I can see reasoning in, why you'd want to allocate a certain amount of funds or a certain amount of the tokens to furthering the project. It's not an easy thing to do. The meme coin space is very competitive. I think a meme coin on Polkadot, if you look at meme coins on Solana or something like that, they've got their own strategies that revolve around meme coins to sort of further shed light on Solana, for example, with Bonk and other things like that, or whatever it may be. But let's dive into it. Let's start off with actually what's going on in regards to DED itself. So DED airdrop is now starting. Please check your DED balance over the next few days. You should receive 36 DED for every dot that you held at the time of the snapshot. So the snapshot has taken place. We did update people on when that was coming, or roughly when that was coming, on what you needed to do. You needed to have your dot on a self-custody wallet, not an exchange wallet, and you should be receiving it. And there's a number of wallets that we stated that were supporting it. Great wallets, by the way. Polkadot. I always had a beef about Polkadot in regards to the wallets. Polkadot.js is, I think, I deal with a lot of people and help them use wallets. I would always say steer clear of JS unless you're a developer. It's great for developers, by the way. But if you're a retail, somebody that's maybe even newer to crypto, you're going to find it very hard. But they have great wallets out there. You've got Talisman, you've got Nova, you've got Subwallet, a number of really good wallets out there that are actually very easy to use. You can do a lot of things actually within the wallets, and I'm a big fan of them. It goes on to say, please note DED will be initially frozen and will only get unfrozen once exchange listings are confirmed to ensure the best possible experience. You can follow the distribution in real time here. So I think there's something interesting there in regards to frozen until exchange listings are confirmed. The law of meme coins is number go up. And that's what brings people into them and the broader space. Me included, right? I am not a big fan of meme coins from a fundamental point of view. I think they're meme coins. That's their purpose. But they are something that's heavily speculated on and heavily involved. People often, it brings people into the crypto. I can't tell you how many people have been brought into crypto through Dogecoin and Shiba Inu. Probably more so than many other projects out there. So I'm with the concept of a meme coin. You can see actually that the airdrop is already taking place. This is on Subsocial. This is the DED account, and this is the kind of transactions that are taking place. And you can see these are being dropped to people as they speak. The outrage really comes on the back end of the tokenomic overview. So this was quite recently dropped, kind of going into the snapshot. And I think people were under the, am I going to say illusion, maybe, that actually the DED token was going to be the 100% of the supply was going to be airdropped to the dot holders. And then we'd go from there. And I think that would be good. We saw that if you look at how Dogecoin started, it was very much anybody could mine it. It was all going to they were doing it themselves through proof of work and kind of paired with Litecoin. And it was all very much a community thing. But just like with Bitcoin, okay, yes, a meme coin can do well under that concept. But in such a competitive market, you kind of need a team or funds to further it. And the question is, well, how could you get that? I can see points on both sides of the argument here, which is why I'm probably more biased to one than the other. But I'm kind of reserving that a little bit. Again, from my own personal point of view, great. If it's 5%, I'm going to get it in my wallet, whatever. It's not something I was banking on to make me rich or anything like that, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of a little bit more neutral, I think, than a lot of people are on this. I can totally sympathize with the frustration. I can also perhaps sympathize with why you would want to maybe not airdrop everything to the token holders if you want to have like a team that can really push and further propagate this project being dead. So on the fence, I think, to be quite honest. We'll look at some takes in just a second. Talks about the only requirements, some basic facts about the DED token. Okay, so fixed supply of 1 trillion tokens. Ecosystem growth, 30% of the supply is going to. Strategic reserves held by the foundation, 30% of the supply. Early investors. Okay, so again, this was funded by the Treasury. I think people are annoyed that actually now you're going outside of that, what was already funded by the Treasury to investors to invest it and giving them 30% of the supply. The team gets 5%. I know there's also been outrage around that. And of course, the airdrop is only going to be 5%. So people like me and you are only going to get 5% of the overall supply. This was posted, and I think this was originally what was set out. So no team allocation and 100% airdrop. It goes on to say a number of other things. But I don't think this is quite how things have turned out. And I think this is where the real frustration lies. Again, I want to keep saying this from my own personal point of view, and I think this is how people should genuinely view it. The controversy that it's causing is bringing attention to Polkadot, and it's actually bringing attention to DED. You should really see it as you're getting something really for nothing. Yes, it might not have been what you were expecting, and you might be a little bit outraged in regards to what the funds that have been used from the Treasury to fund it. It's a very complex subject. You know, that I can see both sides of the argument here. Absolutely. I really can. And it's why I'm finding it quite hard to, because when I'm saying, okay, I can see why people are upset, I can also see why perhaps if it was me doing it, what would I do differently? And I would also want to make sure that we have funds allocated to propagate the project. I maybe wouldn't have gone for 5% to dot holders, but you know, it's very easy to speak on a something that you're perhaps not involved in or you don't know the full ins and outs of. The last kind of thing that I want to do is actually go over to Jay, who happens to be the Kusarmarian. Great channel to follow, by the way, if you're into Polkadot. You know, keeps very up to date on everything. So why is DED drop only 5% of dot holders? Here's what happened for your debating pleasure. The initial vision of DED meme coin was 100% funded by the Treasury, 100% linear distribution to dot holders. Holders funded 2 independent DED proposals via the Treasury. So the first one was for 91,557 dot to the Lunar strategy for marketing DED. Now, I'm not sure who was, and I don't know if we're ever going to find out who was the beneficiaries of that. I certainly wasn't. Again, I have absolutely no affiliation with this. It's just something that I've already made a video on in regards to what was happening with it. There are also other meme coins on Polkadot, like Pink, okay, that have been doing really well on the backdrop of all this. Again, when somebody creates a problem, there's somebody that will come up with a solution, or there's somebody that will benefit. You know, there's yin and yangs in everything in life. So that was for the Lunar strategy for marketing DED. There was also a 16,000 dot to Abliex AG to set up a DED Swiss foundation. I assume this is tax reasons and things like this. But it was at this time funding fatigue began to take hold in conjunction with the event of a new decentralized voices era. A 31,200 dot spend was soon proposed by the DED core devs. Fund ED distribution. Retroactive funding for Snapshot tool. Development of government chain to steer the direction of the 100% community project. While Ref 548 is still ongoing, initial voters' cynicism led to a vote nay request in favor of rolling the deliverables into larger DED bounty initiated by GRO. So DED bounty Ref 556 requested $1 million, an upper limit to spending commitments from the Treasury under a single structure. The amount was likely decided upon by this poll, and there's a poll down here in the description. Despite a quick pivot to open the bounty up to other community meme coin projects, strong voter opposition to the $1 million bounty was interpreted as a signal that 100% Treasury funds was off the table. The DED Foundation has resolved a prioritized speed of execution and will not be seeking funds from the Treasury. So this goes back to why things have changed. and you're now looking at, they've gone a different route, and instead of 100% to the DOT token holders, you've now got to pivot into more of a self-investing via the actual token itself. Let's read on, because I thought this was a good breakdown. Funding was then sought from other sources, which will be compensated with allocations originally intended to DOT holders had Treasury funded 100%. Do DOT holders regret letting ownership of DED slip into private funders? So, i.e., I guess this is referring to voting nay on the 1 million DOT tokens. I think people would have voted on that because they will perhaps have argued that they've already sort of funded or put the Treasury's already funded part of it, or certainly that's what I think people are saying. Or was it unclear what they were getting from the start? I think there's a bit of this as well. I think it's hard to comment on this whole thing. I can always see two sides of an argument. Unfortunately, it makes my life kind of indecisive at times. But despite losing the awesome community power that might have from 100% linear drop, I personally believe DED has high probability of success, having a net positive outcome for Polkadot and worth the spend, but that remains to be seen. Your thoughts? So yeah, your thoughts in the comment section. I thought this was quite a good breakdown. I wanted to update people on this because I'd already made a video on DED and sort of what people needed to do to take part if they wanted to take part. From my own personal standpoint, and getting something for nothing, it's not going to affect me and my crypto journey really largely at all. I can understand the community outrage. I can understand the reasoning for allocating what was supposed to be 100% distributed to token holders to actually different things, like actually how to fund and propagate this project forwards. Yeah, I want to know your thoughts. I'm going to stay kind of neutral on the whole thing. I do have some stronger thoughts that I don't really wish to share. I think the best thing with OpenGov in regards to proposals is transparency. So if you're going to put forward a proposal, you need to be transparent and follow through on that transparency in regards to exactly where the funds are going, how they're being spent, because otherwise it leaves it open to people's imaginations. And this is crypto, right? If people can find an issue, they will find it. They will exploit that issue, and they'll make a real point out of it. So I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about the whole thing? Are you upset? Again, my own personal position is something for nothing. I don't really care that much, if I'm being perfectly honest. I can see the frustration. I can also see perhaps why a pivot on 100% allocation was made. Guys, that's really all I've got for you. Let me know what you thought about this video. Did you enjoy it? Did you think I gave a fair representation of everything that's going on? I tried to. I thought Jay's take on it kind of gave quite a bit of a breakdown on the whole thing. And yeah, on that note, I'm going to love and leave you. Thanks a lot for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll see you all in the next one.